Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my little succulent mug. Today's video is going to be my September TBR. You know how this goes. We're going to be discussing all of the books that I plan on reading in September. I apologize I had to film this while after I got off work, so the lighting's a little bit darker. But let's just get into it. The first one is going to be The Hearts of Argyle Godfrey by Nicholas Leonard. This is actually a little bit of a unique situation. So the author is an indie author, and he reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in listening to his book. He has it uploaded on YouTube, free to listen to, and I was interested in the story, so I told him I would. It seems like it's a pretty short read, but it seems interesting, and I love giving indie authors a chance when I can, and giving them a little bit of a shout out. So let me share what he said. It's a modern Gothic novel, and it's about a young man who has his heart removed because of how heartbreak prone he is. His doctor hands him a glasswork sculpture of a heart that has his heart's essence in it, and tells him that he must give the glasswork heart away to a woman who loves him and a woman he can trust. And that premise is really interesting, and I'm very curious to see what this author has in store. So I am going to read that. Another one that's coming out this month, it's not until like the end of the month, but it's my most anticipated release of the year, I would say, and that's Alchemized by Sin-Lin Yu. You've heard about this as like the Hermione fanfiction turned published work, so it's going to be a different work, but I will actually read you what it says. Not just manacled, what that's about. I'll read you what Alchemized says. It's a traditionally published work. In this riveting dark fantasy debut, a woman with the missing memories fights to survive a war-torn world of necromancy and alchemy, and the man tasked with unearthing the deepest secrets of her past. What is it you think you're protecting in that brain of yours? The war is over. Holdfast is dead. The eternal flame is extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Marino is now a prisoner, of war and of her own mind. Her resistance friends and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Palladia's new ruling class of corrupt guild families and depraved necromancers, whose vile undead creatures helped bring about their victory, holds Helena captive. According to resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks. But Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in this new world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own. Secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. I can't wait. It's going to be so good. I think this comes out September 23rd. I'm so excited. I will immediately... I already have the audiobook pre-ordered, so like it's going to be immediate. I'm going to read it immediately. Cannot wait. Please join me in freaking out over it. Another one that I would like to get to that actually just came in my library today, and I was able to borrow it on audio, is Thorn Season by Kira Azar. It was also an anticipated release for me, and I'm kind of curious about it. I think it's going to be kind of a bigger... I think it's supposed to be like a bigger romantasy of the year. We'll see how it goes, but it's also YA, which I love, but... With the irresistibly compulsive quality of Fourth Wing and the rich world building of A Court of Thorns and Roses, Thorn Season is a sharp, funny, sexy, and dangerous, and packed full of irresistible twists. An unforgettable novel that marks the introduction of a major new YA voice that will be the romantasy debut of 2025. In the kingdom of Daradon, a persecuted few are wielders, able to exert a physical power that extends beyond a visible shimmering tendril that can pick a lock, a gentle coil that reaches out to give a loving caress, or an inexorable rope that will kill a man before he knows it's around his neck. Feared and mistrusted for this ability, wielders have always been hunted. Alyssa Payne, heiress of the noble lineage, daughter of a hunter family, is also a wielder. And as she approaches her 18th season, Alyssa knows she has escaped execution so far only through a painful self-control and the fragile efforts of her beloved father. Summoned to the harsh and glittering royal court for the debutante season, Alyssa finds herself trapped in a web of hidden intentions and caught between two equally dangerous men. One is a brutal ruler with the handsome face of a fairy tale prince who would see her destroyed in an instant, if the truth were known, and the other a beguiling foreign ambassador with secret agendas of his own. It's rose season at the palace, but Alyssa knows that survival will depend on being the most vicious of the thorns. It sounds interesting. Yeah, so on Barnes & Noble, it says Shadow and Bone meets The Selection. So I think there's a couple of different bigger hitters that it's being referenced, but the idea of Shadow and Bone in The Selection is really interesting. The Selection was kind of like candy. Like, it wasn't actually good. To me, it wasn't actually good, but it was enjoyable and you wanted to know what happened. So I'm curious to see that kind of a trope, kind of like the Rose Bargain. That trope, but done well, because I really did like the Rose Bargain. So hopefully this is as good as it sounds. Next one I would like to get to is not coming out in September, even though I have a lot of those and like kind of new releases. And I guess this is a new release, but it's been a while. Is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is book 2 in the Wicked game series. I really liked Phantasma a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I wanted to pick this up as soon as it came out, and I just didn't, and it didn't get to it. So I would like to get to it now because it's been kind of in the back of my mind. I really want to get to it. This is following the sister, Genevieve. And I think this is like a labyrinth hide and seek kind of a situation. Welcome to Enchantra. There's only one rule, never ever trust your heart. When Genevieve Grimm's mother dies, she's left with questions no one can answer, until she receives an invitation to Enchantra, a cursed palace in Italy, frozen in time. Though denied entrance by the sinfully handsome yet hostile Rowan Silver, Genevieve finds her own way in, and soon realizes her mistake. For Enchantra is a twisted labyrinth where Rowan and his 6 siblings are trapped in a deadly game. At the mercy of a twisted devil and his ghastly specters, only one occupant of the house can survive. Genevieve now must win or die. Rowan warns her that he's the deadliest of the Silvers, that he always wins, and that her only chance is to compete as his wife. They must convince their audience they're desperately in love. And while Genevieve's willing to do whatever it takes to survive, she also knows she can't trust Rowan, that the desire burning between them is a lie. After all, it was Rowan who taught her Enchantra's first rule: never, ever trust your heart. Like I said, I really enjoyed Phantasma, so I think I'm gonna like this, and the different direction this is going with like the hide and seek murder-ish situation sounds also really good. So I really hope I enjoy this one as well. Don't spoil it for me, but tell me if you liked it. Another one I would like to get to that came out in August is Voidwalker by S.A. McLean. This is book 1 in the Beasts of Void. First off, the cover is beautiful. It's like very Aurora Borealis, Northern Lights. Stunning beauty. This one sounds really cool with just like portal magic. I don't know, it sounds really good. It says Fiona Mara, I'm going to call her Fee, because that's what they call her later. Fee is a smuggler, and Tal is the reason her people fear the dark. Fee ferries contraband between worlds, stockpiling funds and stolen magic to keep her village self-sufficient, free from the blood sacrifices humans have paid in Antal's immortal species for centuries. Only legends whispering through the pine forest recall a time when things were different, before one world shattered into many and the flesh-devouring beasts crept from the cracks between the realities. With their sable antlers and slender tails, lethal claws, and gleaming fangs. Now mortal lives are food to pacify their carnivorous overlords, exchanged for a feudal protection, and the precious silver energy that fuels everything, from transport to weaponry. When Fee gets planted with a stash of smuggled energy, a long-lost flame recruits her for a reckless heist that escalates into a terroristic bombing and a coup against the reigning immortals, with Fee's home caught in the crossfire. She's always known the dangers of her trade and of the power she's wielded since childhood, allowing her to see the secret doors between dimensions, to walk the void itself. But nothing could have prepared her for crossing paths with Antal, for the deal she'll have to make with him, a forced partnership to reclaim his city, and that begins as a desperate bid for survival, only to grow into something far more dangerous, a revolution. So it says it's an era-defining new fantasy universe where spicy romance meets the Cosmere, unmissable for fans of world-building scale of Sarah J. Maas and the world-shifting stakes of Rebecca Yarros. So Voidwalker will be your next romantasy obsession. Very interesting. That magic sounds really cool. I'm curious to see how it's executed. Another one that I want to get to, but I might wait until Christmas just because it's more of the vibe, is Holly by Adeline Grace. This is kind of a Belladonna holiday novella. It takes place after the Belladonna trilogy. And it says, a mysterious and magical holiday novella set in the romantic, gothic-infused world of Belladonna. It's a little bit spoilery, so if you haven't read this trilogy, don't listen to the synopsis because it spoils character stuff for you. So just know that going on. The manor that Blythe and Eris call home. All they want is a peaceful holiday season with their family, but a group of restless spirits is determined to threaten their festivities. With a new mystery to solve, Signa, Death, Blythe, and Fate must uncover what happened to Wisteria's ghostly inhabitants and help the spirits move on before it's too late. So I kind of want to read this now because I'm excited, because I just want to like read it to know I have the series behind me because I've already read the others, but also maybe waiting until Christmas because it's kind of festive. Let me know what you think. Right now it's on my TBR, but I may move it to December. And then I would like to read Once a Villain by Vanessa Lynn. This has been kind of a long time coming. This is book 3 in the Monsters trilogy. It's the final installment, and the first one came out in 2022, and I think I read it that year, and then read the second book in 2023 when it came out, so it's been a bit. So I kind of had to like dive back into the story, but I did already start this, and I am enjoying it so far more than I enjoyed the second book. The second book kind of flopped for me, but I really liked the first one. So we'll see how it goes. But I have started this already, so I am reading and I am going to read it. But obviously this is going to contain some spoilers if you haven't read the series. I'll read you like the little synopsis. It says, Only a Monster trilogy. The final book in the Only a Monster trilogy is here, where the unstoppable love and high stakes of divine rivals meets the propulsive thrills of this savage song in a last-ditch, breathless race against time. Essentially, in this world, monsters look like people, but they have this ability to time travel. And if you time travel, you have to steal the time from humans or someone else. So if I want to time travel 10 years in the past, I have to take 10 years from someone's life. So usually the monsters will do that to the humans. So they'll walk up to a human, take 10 years of their life off. That human's lifespan is now 10 years shorter. It gets complicated really fast, and there's a lot of time traveling timeline stuff that happens in this series. So I'm curious to see if they can fix everything and how everything wraps up in the third book. Trying not to spoil anything else for you. And then last but not least, if I have some time, I would like to get to Fury Song by Rosaria Munda. This is book 3 in the Aurelian Cycle series. Obviously, I can't necessarily tell you what this one's about either, but it's a dragon military school. And a lot of stuff happened in book 1 and book 2, and I am just preparing myself for heartache. But I also am kind of in a series completionist mood recently, where I just want to get series complete instead of like dragging them on for so long. So I would like to finish this trilogy this year, and I'm scared, but I just want to know what happens as well. So I'm hoping I can read Fury Song and put that trilogy under my belt. I really have enjoyed it so far. I think it's a great series. The author does a great job talking about political stuff, talking about political intricacies and difficulties, and making things very, very gray and not black and white at all, which is how life is in these situations in war. So my feelings might get hurt, but we're gonna see how it goes, and I'm looking forward to reading it. One of the cool things about the story is that it follows 2 main characters, and one of them was a child of the like ruthless reigning royalty and like the emperor, and the emperor is taken down and the families are killed, and that Lee, the son, becomes an orphan, and he gets put into an orphanage. And through the war, the rebellion, a kid from the rebellion also ends up in the orphanage, and they become best friends. So it's really interesting watching them have to navigate their friendship while also being in a military school, and also having these very different pasts, and the way they were raised, the way they grew up, the way they think, and having to come to grips with what is truly right and having to come to terms with what is truly right, and when you crush an evil regime, what is too far. It's very good. I implore you to read it if you want to. Those are all of the books that I'm planning on getting to in September. There's a lot of new releases, but also some things I've been trying to get to for a while, and continue series, finish series. But please comment down below and let me know one book you would like to get to in September. But as for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.